Okay, so welcome to Chess with an AI. I just condensed everything to one file, so it'll be easier to manage. So here we go. Okay, so once you run it, the first thing you'll get to is this splash screen which says welcome to chess, and you'll have this checkmate of the day right at the bottom. And this is more of an educational tool because every day I wrote a function that hashes the actual day, and every day it'll give you a different image for the checkmate of the day. And this is more of an educational tool. It'll actually just tell you, okay, well, here is a different checkmate, and the reason for this is I want people to learn from this as well. So once they look at this, they say, okay, well, this is something that hopefully I can add maybe to my chess game, or maybe if I see this in a certain opportunity, I can try to implement it, or something like that. But I just thought it was a neat little feature that people could learn from, maybe just a little bit, or they can look at it and see, oh, okay, that is a checkmate, and they can learn just a little bit every time they log in every time. And so, okay, now to the actual game. So to play against another player, click versus player, then click start. So versus player, and start game. So white will start at the bottom, so let's just start over here. And then it'll be black's turn, so black can move here. And then white can move, and let's say that black doesn't know how to play, even though they made a move already. They can go down here to instructions, and they say, okay, objective of the game, read the instructions. How pieces move, read the instructions. And then they can click instructions again, and the game was saved just how it was. The way that it was actually built was the instructions were just displayed over the game, and once the instructions was clicked again, it was actually just deleted, and the game was still how it was. It was always there. The instructions were just displayed over to give the appearance that, the game was paused. Okay, so, have, let's play another move, and, you get the idea. Okay, so let's say you want to restart. Simply go down here, click restart. And to play against an AI, click versus AI, then medium or hard, then click start, versus AI, hard, start game. Okay, so move, AI moves there. And the way that the AI was implemented is that an algorithm called minimax was implemented, and it was actually developed by, I believe, von Neumann in the 50s. And what it does is it gives every single piece a value, anywhere from, any value you want, a numerical value. So I gave the king 200, the queen 100, bishops, knights, rooks a 50, and then pawns around 10. And so it goes every time that a move is made, a a the board is evaluated, and it says, okay, how many kings, queens, rooks, etc. are there, and then that sum is made. And what the algorithm tries to do is it tries to minimize the amount of damage that is made while trying to minimize the damage that is made to the player that is implementing the algorithm while trying to maximize the opponent's damage. But it really just cares about minimizing its own damage, and so in doing that, it will actually try become a pretty smart AI. And so I believe it's our turn. So obviously it does that. And so in doing that, the AI actually becomes pretty intelligent. And I also implemented a move history because in chess, obviously, you cannot make more than 3 moves, I believe, consecutively being the exact same thing. For example, in the top left here, that rook could not be moving to the top left and right to the right of it, and then back and forth approximately 3 times, because that would cause a draw or a stalemate. And so I had to implement a move history, and I believe that is all also in the minimax algorithm. I had to implement a get next available moves, and because I had to find all the legal moves that had to be made, I also had to implement a couple of other algorithms that had to simulate the entire board, because it had to simulate not only one sort of simulation of the board, but also the algorithm can simulate up to six. That's what the varying difficulties are. If it's an easy, it looks two moves ahead, so it simulates what happens if one move goes, and then simulate all the possible iterations of that. So if one pawn moves, then what would the board state be? And then if the pawn moves again, what would the board state be? That's what the easy um, difficulty is. But then hard is if one pawn moves and then a pawn moves and that happens six times, it actually simulates the pawn moving, or it simulates six board movements. And so that is actually the what the different difficulties are. It's just how many simulations actually happen. And so the iterations actually explode. The number of iterations actually explode when you go from easy to hard, because they actually increase exponentially. And so that is chess with an AI.